I'm Chief Meteorologist Efren Afate with the update on the potential severe weather that's going to be moving in Monday and Tuesday in the southeast. The Storm Prediction Center already has the potential for an enhanced risk of severe storms that could potentially produce tornadoes in the central Gulf South. It covers a good portion from Texas all the way through into just around the areas of the Florida Panhandle and extreme southwest Georgia. But that is for Monday. The main focal point will be right around the Mississippi Delta all the way to the Florida Panhandle. But that's Monday. As we get into Tuesday, it progresses into the southeast Atlantic and the Atlantic coast, including North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. On Tuesday, there's another enhanced risk in southeast Alabama and southwest Georgia for the potential of severe storms that could produce tornadoes. But we do have the severe risk that also covers from Georgia into the Carolinas and as far as South Carolina. That Tuesday severe weather threat covers all of the Midlands. A good portion of the upstate is under a marginal risk, so it's a lesser risk, but still, we're talking about especially a slight risk for the Midlands, from the Piedmont, PD, Grand Strand, all the way down to the low country. And we're looking at the possibility of strong to severe storms. Severe storm criteria is at least 58-mile-an-hour wind gusts. We could see and exceed that, and the possibility of maybe some tornadic weather anywhere in this region on Tuesday. Now, the threat level continues to increase. Right now, there is confidence growing that we're very likely going to be looking at impacting weather for our Midland communities. And although this is going to change a little bit as we get into Tuesday morning, the threat level is increasing. Right now, it looks like the largest threat will be for anything significant all the way to severe will be in the southern and eastern areas of South Carolina. That does include portions of the southern and eastern Midlands. What we're looking at with that severe weather threat, the tornado risk, well, we're looking at a low end for tornado warnings. It's a low risk, but it's not a zero risk. We're looking at damaging wind gusts of over 58 miles an hour. There's a better chance that that could happen with a lot of lightning associated with these storms as they go through, and as well the potential for heavy rainfall that could lead into some flash flooding, especially in low-lying areas of our Midland communities. This is what we're looking at as far as timing of everything, when it starts, when it ends. The winds that could be possibly gusting up to 50 miles an hour probably won't start until after daybreak, sometime between 8 and 9 a.m. Tuesday morning. The winds will start picking up. The greater risk for the winds will be at least dealing with wind gusts of over or up to 50 miles an hour. Will start probably between 8 and 9 o'clock and really ramp up as we get to the middle of the day on Tuesday. As far as severe storms, and again, this could be anywhere from hail from 1 inch or severe winds up to 58 or over 58 miles per hour wind gusts. Probably start around 9 o'clock. It's still a low-end chance, but it really starts kicking into gear as we get into the middle of the day. As far as the heavy rainfall, we do expect the rain to start really early Tuesday morning, probably right after midnight, but the heavy rainfall could start after 7, 8 o'clock, and especially after we get past 9 o'clock, it really ramps up. By noon, along with the severe storms potential and the wind gusts, we're looking at the heavy rainfall to start at that point. And with the flash flooding, well, since the rain really isn't going to be ramping up until after daybreak, there's a low-end chance after 9 o'clock, but very likely flash flood advisories or warnings could potentially start by noon. But if you notice, all the criteria of everything that we're dealing with, there's a possibility that after 12 noon on Tuesday, there's a really good chance for at least 4 to 5 hours of severe winds, severe thunderstorms, wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour, and heavy rainfall that could lead into flash flooding. It should start tapering off by about 6 to 7 o'clock in the eastern and southern Midlands. But the flash flooding criteria, that's going to be the tricky one, because even though the heavy rainfall may start tapering off as we get to about 8 or 9 o'clock, that a heavy rainfall with the flash floods, should we have flash flood warnings, they'll probably exceed 3 to 4 hours after they're issued. That's why we'll still be dealing with the potential for the flash flooding after 9 o'clock on Tuesday night. Now, the flash flooding criteria we're looking at right now, at this point, the Weather Prediction Center has a heavy rainfall along and north of I-95 from the PD, the Midlands, all the way to the upstate. And then south of I-95, there is a marginal risk. To give you an idea of what we're talking about, marginal to slight, here's the bottom line. there's going to be a lot of rainfall. In areas along the South Carolina shores and coastal inland could see 2 inches or more. But when you get into areas from the Midlands, Central Savannah River area, over into the PD, we're looking at the possibility of 3 inches or more. It gets worse when you get into portions of the upstate, where right along the northwest Midlands and the interior upstate could see up to 4 inches and possibly 5 or more when you get into the northern portions of the upstate and going into the mountains. And that's going to be an issue with the high terrain. We could be looking at flash flooding that could exacerbate areas downstream that doesn't have that much rainfall. The bottom line is this. Tuesday, to recap, we do have a risk for severe weather for South Carolina. It's a little bit of a lesser chance in the northwest portion of the state into the upstate, but for the rest of South Carolina, it does include all of our Midland communities. There is that risk. The timing is going to be from late morning on Tuesday going into the evening, and I would suspect at least into the mid to late evening. And there's a possibility that we could see some tornado warnings. It's a low end, but it is not zero. And the likelihood of damaging wind gusts of over 58 miles an hour has really increased for our Midland communities. There is going to be a lot of lightning associated with these storms. So obviously with the wind conditions and the lightning, you definitely not want to be outside and certainly not be driving, because we are looking at, there's a good chance that many of us could see some flash flooding with the heavy rainfall that we're going to be expecting by the time we get into Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday night. The News 19 weather team will be updating this as we go through Monday morning all the way through Monday night, and then we'll be covering it with great intention all throughout the day Tuesday until it ends on Tuesday night.